Hey, everybody. How we doing today? Hopefully everybody is having a good... Today's Monday, right? No, today's Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. Sorry, lost track there for a minute. So today we are working on our train engine. This is what it looks like in color. Been working on this for about a week and a half now, off and on. And I think today we're going to be able to finish it up and actually get ready, good evening, get it ready to do some test prints because we need to check our wheels and the wheel caps, make sure that all lines up properly. So let's get busy and get her done. Wicked, welcome. All right, so I kind of struggled for a while how I wanted to create the coupler, but I decided to go with a Janny coupler, which is a train coupler that you'll find on real trains. It doesn't function exactly like a real coupler. Sorry, let me angle this so you can see our menus. But it looks like choo-choo mother trainer. Cool. But it looks like a Janny coupler, and that's good enough. Like I said, this will function for what it needs to do, and that is to hold the cars together. And then we're going to create some pivot room in here where the coupler interfaces with the train chassis to make sure that it can turn corners. Because what good is a train with curved track if you can't go around corners? Am I right or am I right? All right, so let's go ahead and validate our chassis. And I think what I might do is let's go ahead and save a version of this. Just so if we mess it up, we can come back to the original. Oh, wicked. Let me back out and show you some updates. So I've been playing around with sorry, I'm getting all kinds of messages here, which I really wish I didn't. Pretty soon I'll only have one phone. Right now I have 3. Don't ask, don't tell. Anyway, so I've been messing around with the triplanar capabilities of applying textures and whatnot. And as you can see, we've added some rivets and panel lines. Of course, the filigree is from mask extraction. Can you show me how to create your own brush, please? Well, okay. It's not really the focus of what I'm doing right now. What I would say, because I only have a limited amount of time that I can spend doing this today, so what I would say is shoot me a DM, and I can put together a quick little video showing you exactly how to create your own custom brush. But I am actually traveling tomorrow, and I've got to get this done and get some test prints printed before. And Wicked Construct here says he has a video where you can check out already how to make custom brushes. All right, so back to our Janny coupler. I'm going to go into X-ray mode, and we're going to come over here at the top. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up our train engine here, and I want the chassis, and we're just going to solo that. So we're just looking at the chassis and everything attached to it, which will be the chassis and the wheels and the coupler. And then I'm going to paint this chassis white. So when I switch into paint mode and I pull back on the opacity, it turns it into a nice light shade so I can see through it better. All right, let's turn on our grid. All right, we're going to lock our view so it doesn't keep moving on us. And now we're going to throw a box in here because what we're going to create is we're going to create a Boolean that we can use to excavate the area where our coupler is going to live. So I'm going to narrow this down a little bit, and we'll extend it into where the coupler goes. And we don't need it all the way out there. That's probably about the right shape we need here for the top view. Let's switch into the side view. All right, as you can see, it's a little low, so let's bring it up here where it belongs. And then we are going to bring it down vertically, and I want it to be just a little bit bigger than the coupler itself. I don't want a lot of room. Okay. Just a little bit of room so it clears the coupler, but there's not going to be supports under this coupler when it prints on the inside of the chassis, so I want to make sure that it's close enough where the first few layers will droop a little bit, but then it'll pick up and kind of use itself as supports and then print the rest of it. But if it's too far down there, then it'll require more layers. It'll require more layers to set up that initial successful base. And I'm going to pull back on the opacity on this piece as well so we can see through it. There we go. So I want the bottom of my cavity for the coupler. We're actually streaming to YouTube right now. You can catch, currently you can catch a lot of my past live streams there. I will be, I'm also recording my stream now, so you will be able to, in the future here, as I get time to edit them, you'll be able to catch more of my content on my YouTube channel. And all of my links are in my bio, so if you want to go check us out there, that's how you do it. All right. So we've got the right clearances here. Again, we've got just a little bit of clearance down here. Up here you can have as much as you want, but I like to keep things kind of tight. Just enough clearance. I'll have to catch up. I want to create original stuff in 2026. That's my goal. Well, that is an excellent goal, and I will tell you that that was my goal when I started out this year as well. And as of right now, I've been doing this for about 6 months now. I have created, where am I at now? I think we're pushing 70 models. And they're all on my mini, well, not all of them. I'm releasing them gradually, but the ones that I have released are on my mini factory. Again, all the links are in my bio. And I do have a Patreon. I don't, you can follow me on Patreon, but I don't give out models there. Fusion 360, yeah. You know, interestingly enough, Fusion 360 is the CAD software, which you already know. And I highly recommend that for more of your functional type of models. However, I have been challenging myself to use Nomad Sculpt. Nomad Sculpt is more of an artistic, creating more organic artistic things, whether you're just doing it for art or you're doing it with the eventual, 3D output printing purpose. But one of the things that I have been doing, as you can see, is I have been forcing myself to learn how to create things that are functional, as well as pretty to look at. So that is both the coupler here, my pop-on wheel cap axle setup. I wouldn't say Nomad is harder. I would say that it's a different way of thinking and a different tool set. Some of the things that you do in Nomads, or that you can do in Fusion 360, you won't be able to do in here. But that doesn't mean that you can't create the same object. You have to just create it in a different manner, and that's what I'm learning. And I'm a 35 plus year professional in the 3D industry, modeling and such. All right, so let's go ahead and validate our box, because we can't do anything to it until we validate it. Okay, sorry, somebody wanted to challenge me on a stream, and it's like, I don't do that at all. Even with people I know, and I don't know you. All right, so I'm going to use the line tool. We're going to trim this now. I've got symmetry turned on, so what I do on one side, it's going to do on the other. Now, I could create a, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. I'm going to use my polygon. So I could use the line tool and then just trim off pieces on this and rotate it around. But I can also take a polygon. I'm going to start with a circle, actually. Right about there. And then I'm going to convert it to a polygon by switching to a polygon tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the shape of the piece that I want to excavate the chassis with. And then I will flip the script, literally. I'll show you what I mean if you give me a second here. So I'm going to pull this down like so. We don't need both of those. We don't need any of those. All right. That's the basic shape we're going for. Okay, I want this Janny coupler to be able to swing back and forth so our train can go around. Thank you for the roses and the hearts. So our train can go around corners because we have created tracks for this as well, and I'll show you that when we get done here. In fact, I'll show you the whole train if you're patient. And we have some curved track pieces. So, and for those of you who are wondering, yes, we are eventually going to motorize this, but not today. The objective now is to create a tabletop display piece or an under-the-tree display piece that people can print out and brighten up their holidays with a 3D printed train. All right. Now, if I did this trim here, it would trim out this piece in the center and leave this on the outside, which is exactly what I don't want to do. So I'm going to flip my trim, and now it's going to leave just this piece in the center. Once you get your trim shape set up, you just tap it. And just like that, you have a more complicated, or I can't think of what the word is I'm looking for here, but it's definitely a more detailed piece. And this is basically, I can print that one. Let's trains mod. Good. Yes, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on the train concept. I think you'll like it. Like I said, give me a few minutes here, and we'll pull the whole thing out so you can see it. So I'm going to remesh it to get some automatic smoothing. And I think I'll smooth the edges just a little bit more, because then that's going to reflect on the hole that we make with this thing. And what we're doing is we're creating a Boolean shape. For those of you who are not familiar with 3D modeling, a Boolean is what you use to cut out, in this particular case, this shape out of another piece. You can also use Booleans to intersect. You can use Booleans to add. So in this particular case, this becomes our subtraction Boolean. So I'm going to hide it, keep it selected, and then I'm going to select, actually I want to duplicate this because we're going to keep this for the other train cars. All right, so we've got our box and then our chassis. And I don't want to hide the chassis is, sorry, let me set the opacity back up where you can see it. There we go. All right, so there's our Boolean, there's our chassis. I'm going to select the Boolean, we'll hide it, and then we'll select the chassis. We've selected both the box Boolean and the chassis, but the box Boolean is hidden. We hit Boolean, and just like that, we have created some complicated geometry with just a few steps. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and remesh this just a little bit, again, to clean up those edges. And then we'll unsolo everything and turn off X-ray, and we'll slip out of paint mode here. And now you can see that our Janny coupler will easily swing on that pin that we've put in there. And there'll be plenty of clearance. I'm going to select the coupler and go to the top. And you can faintly see the outline of the hole that we made. So our coupler will be able to swing from side to side. And I'll just demonstrate that by moving the pivot point. I'll turn snap on, we'll set it to 5 degrees. And there you go. That's how much articulation that Janny coupler will have. So this train should easily be able to go around whatever corner we throw at it. Okay? All right. Thank you for the follow. By the way, guys, if you like what I'm doing here, give me a follow, subscribe. We're on all social media platforms. Right now we're live streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, Discord, if you're a member of our Discord, and if you're not, you should be because it's free. And obviously here on TikTok. So there you go. All right. So that is, I don't need this coupler here. So we're actually just going to get rid of this. And what I want to do is I'm going to save this. You know what I could do? I'm going to try something I actually haven't done before. I'm going to grab this box here. I'm going to solo it and show it. And I'm going to export this as a Nomad file. I haven't done this before. So just the selected piece. And we're going to export it. And we're going to call it... Oh, shoot. Save to files. I'm trying to remember where... Okay, that's... Trying to remember where it goes on my iPad. Okay, here we go. Nomad. And projects. There's all the projects. Let's go ahead and save this as train coupler boolean. Let's see if that worked. Modeling on tablets is always so impressive to me. I could never live without my shortcuts. Yeah, no, I get it. Sometimes and I've been a lightwave modeler for a number of years. Can't tell you how many times I've gone to do something and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I can't do that here. Which is good because it keeps the old brain active. Keeps the brain active, coming up with ways to do things that, again, you couldn't do before, but now you have to do them the way that the tablet forces you. All right, so I'm going to turn solo off. I'm going to get rid of this because we don't need it in here anymore. And I'm just going to, out of curiosity, I'm going to see, you know what, I need to check something here. If there's going to be enough. We need to load up one of the other cars. Let's do that first. Add to scene. Let's see if my coupler is in here anywhere. I don't see it. Doesn't mean it's not there. It just means I haven't found it yet. All right. We'll worry about. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's cancel. All right. We'll figure that out later. Right now, I'm going to add the next car, which is our coal tender. Oh shoot! I opened it. I didn't. All right, I'm going to open, and I killed Nomad. Let's try again. All right. Uh-oh, it didn't save anything. He did. That happens. Oh, and there's our train coupler. Nice. We saved it. We saved the object. We exported the object as a Nomad file and just that object, which is great because we're going to need that train coupler item in the future, and you'll see why. But I want to actually, I'm kind of glad that it didn't work because now we'll be able to demonstrate actually using that coupler file. But I'm going to load in, let's back out here. I'm going to load in our coal tender. Add to scene, coal tender. All right, there we go, that's him. We're going to slide him down here behind the engine. Alien, how's my day going? Busy. And a little frustrating. Trying to get software to do what you want it to do sometimes doesn't always work. Okay, my suspicions are true. I want that coupler to hang out a little further behind the engine. So I'm actually kind of glad that it didn't work out. How's your day going? I'm going to turn on X-ray so we can see, and we're just going to pull this over a little closer. Alright, I see something in my coal car that we have to fix, but we'll worry about that later. And look at that, maybe later just joined. What are the odds? Alright, so I think that's probably about the right distance here. Let's jump up here. just want to make sure that we've got enough clearance between our cars here for the train to go around a corner. Because if it doesn't, then that's going to be a lot of modeling that we've done in vain. So I think maybe what we might do is we might scale this up and put just a little more distance between these cars. Let's grab our coal tender and the tracks that it came in on. Oh, nice. Nice. Thing 1 and thing 2. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull just the coal tender. I don't need the tracks to move to. Alright, now we grab our couplers. And I need to grab the pins as well. Did we make it big enough? I think we did. Alright, that should definitely give us enough clearance for that car to swing far enough around on both sides to go around corners. So, that is our objective here. Alright, let's go back to our engine chassis. And I'm kind of thinking that I need to... Actually, we need to export this. So I'm going to go ahead and do what we did before. I'm going to export to Nomad. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Not yet. Only the selected pieces. And I'm going to put them in here as... Where is our coupler? Okay, we're in alphabetical order, so that coupler should be around here somewhere. Alright, well, how am I going to call it that? I'm going to call it train coupler. Actually, let's just call it what it is. Janny coupler, and I'll call it number 2. Just so there's no confusion. What type of tablet? We're using a... yes, I have modeled the curve track. What type of tablet are you using? We're using a iPad Pro. Most recent version. With the... I think it's the M3 chip? I'm not sure which chip it is. But it's the... I just bought it like a couple, 3 or 4 months ago. But the good news is, I don't know if you know this or not, but Nomad is also now available for the desktop. So if you head out to their site, you can download it for Mac or PC on your desktop as well. I plan to do that later today, in fact. Alright, so once again, we've got our coupler. I'm going to go ahead and load from scene our train coupler boolean. And look at there. There it is. Right where we left it. So exciting. All right, I'm going to go to the top because we can actually move that out now. Where is the coupler? Oh, I called it box. Whatever. That works. I'm going to switch into paint mode, and we're going to reduce the opacity so we can see through it. And then we're going to move it out here. That's about where it needs to go. Right about there. Okay, so once again, after we excavate this from the chassis of our train, our coupler should be able to swing back and forth. And our train will then be able to turn corners. So let's go here and grab our box. We're going to hide it and then grab the chassis and hit Boolean. And just like that, it will carve a piece out of there. Oop, grab the wrong piece. Hate it when that happens. Let's go back here and grab our chassis. I'm going to remesh that real quick, just to clean those edges up a little. Actually, I'll remesh it a little bit more. Alright, if I turn X-ray off, you'll see our coupler is in its little cavity there. And it should be able to swing from side to side now and allow our train to turn a corner. And hopefully that will be enough. We grab our paintbrush and repaint this in the lovely black color that we have selected for it. Okay, let's back out here. There's our coupler, and there is the cavity in which it sits. And I just realized something. Our pin is actually still green. Once upon a time, I was going to make it green, but not anymore. There we go. All right. So, coupler, chassis, engine. Now the coupler. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the cars in here one at a time and do the same technique on these guys that we just did on our engine. Alright, let's go ahead and validate this chassis. And then let's add to scene our train coupler. It's going to go right where it was before, but that's okay. We'll just flip it around and put it where we want it. I'm going to snap it to 90 degrees. And then we'll move it into place over here. Drop the opacity, because we're going to paint mode, we can do that. Alright, so this coupler is going to be a little off because the center line is not exactly straight across from each other, and that's okay. So we just need to move our boolean down just a smidge to accommodate. I think I might actually widen this out just a little bit, just to get a little more space there on that left to right swing. Okay. Alright, let's let's swing out here and take a look at it from the side. So there's our coupler boolean, sorry. And the coal tender, we're going to grab the chassis for that. And hit boolean. And carve a recess in there for, okay, now it looks like my coupler was a little bit too high, because this is the kind of stuff that you have to check. Alright, the Janny coupler was the same height, but for some reason our boolean went the wrong way here. So let's see, what do we need to change here? Alright, I widened it, but it didn't. Interesting. Alright, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to thicken it up a little bit here. We'll drop the opacity again so we can see through it to make sure that we've got good clearance on the top and the bottom. Let's drop it even more. Let paint turn on. Okay, that's good clearance. Yeah, I like that. Alright, the pin goes all the way up above it. We've got clearance on the top and the bottom of our coupler, so now we can go ahead and hide that, and then select the chassis, switch out of paint mode, and boolean the whole thing. Now our coupler should swing freely and have enough clearance. Let's go ahead and remesh this a little bit, set it pretty high so we've got a nice clean edge here. grab my smooth tool. Smooth it out inside here. And then we'll switch into paint mode. And again, this needs to be all black, so we'll just paint all to make sure that that's all black now. And we'll turn X-ray off. All right, very good. We are on our way. So now I want there to be some, I'm going to paint that black as well, that pin inside there. I want there to be some continuity. All right. So let's say, for example, I'm playing with my train, and I don't want to put the coal car behind the engine. I want to put our next car, which is going to be the flat car. I'm going to save this again as our Holiday Express. I'm going to call it Whole Train. Oop. Final. There we go. So let's go ahead and add our flat car to this scene. And there it is. Switch out of paint mode. And we're going to move it down the line here. I'm going to make sure that I get a similar distance between the flat car and the coal tender. That looks good. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take this coupler and we're going to duplicate it. And move it back here between these two cars. So, keeping everything in the same, just duplicating and moving it back will keep everything at the same level. So these cars will be interchangeable, okay? No matter what order we put them in. And now we just have to do what we did before, and that is create the cavity, excuse me, where the couplers will live. So let's go ahead and add to the scene our coupler boolean. Pull it back here where the other coupler, the new couplers are. We'll zoom in on it. And again, go into paint mode, set the opacity low enough where we can see through it. And again, I'm going to widen it just a little bit. I don't have to, but I just want to be careful and make sure that we've got enough clearance. Let's look at it from the side, because we had that issue before where it was, and the reason was because we thickened it. I remember what we did now. We thickened our coupler. That's what we did. All right, so let's go ahead and thicken it here. So again, we've got good clearance on the bottom and the top. All right. And as long as we're here, I'm just going to go ahead and clone this guy again, because we're going to do the same thing over here. We'll just leave it over there for the moment. We don't need it right now. All right, we're going to grab our coupler. And I don't, yeah, we already did the chassis on this, so this is already validated. We just need to cut a hole. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've got our coupler. I'm going to hide it. And then we'll select that chassis again, and we'll boolean a hole out of this side. Again, run a little cleanup on aisle 7 with our remesh and then smooth tool. Actually, it's already smooth. I'm going to solo it, switch back into paint. And we need to make that all black, so I'll just paint it all. And then we will double check our work. Looks like the coupler is going to live in there very nice and be very happy. So let's switch over to our next chassis. All right, this coupler, let's switch back out of paint mode. This coupler needs to point, or the boolean needs to point in the other direction. So let's go ahead and grab that. Snap is set to 90, so it'll constrain us to not rotate too far. And turn on paint again so we can see through it. Hopefully this is helpful for everyone. If it is, give us pound that like button. Give us a follow. All right, so there you go. There's our coupler. I don't think I didn't think of this one out, did I? Or did I? I can't remember. Yes, we did. Okay, good. So we're already set. Now we're going to need this 2 more times, so I'm just going to clone it again, and we'll move it down here out of our way. We'll need it on the final car, which is our caboose. All right. Now, if I'm correct, we have not... Yeah, we haven't validated this piece, which we need to do first. Let's up the topology, and then we'll validate it. Grab that coupler boolean, hide it, select our chassis. That's the wrong chassis. Should be a flat car chassis. There we go. And we will boolean a piece out of there. Oh, I just noticed something. That's my bad. We need to move that car forward. Let's grab the whole flat car. And that needs to come forward a little bit. Probably right about there. Not probably, actually. My apologies. But at least we caught it. Okay, so let's grab that box again. That's the wrong one. We need to grab this one. There's our Boolean. It's selected. Again, select the chassis and hit Boolean. And we cut out the cavity that we need. Whoa! And we hit the wrong button. We make the chassis 4 times bigger than we need it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and remesh that real quick, just a little bit. And now we're going to grab this coupler and pin setup, and we're going to duplicate it again. Oh, wait a minute. That's too many couplers. That one. I think it's this pin and this pin. There we go. All right. We'll organize our stuff later. And then we're going to clone it one more time. Lock down our side view. Well, let's put it over here where it belongs. We'll get the proper alignment in a moment. But right now, we need to add another car. Our final car. And that would be the caboose. Can't have a train without the caboose. Let's go ahead and save where we're at. Hopefully we won't crash Nomad. I've been kind of pushing the limits with it lately, so. There's our caboose. Let's move the caboose down here at the end. Don't worry about the track overlapping. That's just for display purposes. We have the caboose selected. There we go. Don't need the track, just need the caboose. Alright, overlap. Goes right about there. And the associated pins. Well, I think we nailed it right out of the gate. Nice. That's what you call a happy accident. Always appreciate those. All right, where is our other Boolean box? There it is. It's hidden. Let's reveal it so we can See it? We need to cut a Boolean out of the other side of our flat car. So let's move that into position, and then we're going to need one more of these bad boys over here. We'll rotate that into position. It's going to cut right about there. Okay, so let's grab our first box. Again, we're going to go in paint mode so we can see through it. I've already set the opacity to 22%. Just want to make sure that we have enough clearance, because this is going to make our hole between the edge of our cavity and the edge of our Janny coupler. The tablet is an iPad Pro, and the app is Nomad Sculpt. I just looked at my screen. Sorry, my hand gets in the way. If you want to watch us do this without my hand getting in the way, check out our YouTube, Twitch, and Kick channels. Or join our Discord. You can watch on our Discord. Okay. All right, so that Boolean is in proper position. As long as we're adjusting Booleans, let's go ahead and adjust the other one as well, since we're in the ballpark. And remember, this one's got to go a little bit south, because our Janny couplers are not perfectly aligned. They don't need to be. All right, there we go. So, once again, we'll grab this Boolean here. We're going to hide it, and then we'll select the chassis, and we will hit Boolean, just like that, and it will cut out the cavity that we need. I'm going to up that resolution just a little bit to get some auto smoothing around the edges, and we're going to paint that one more time, the base black that we've been using. Yeah, can you guys hear me? I want to make sure you can hear me, because I said that earlier, and if you didn't hear me, I just want to double check that you can hear me. All right, and then let's see, I'm going to matte cap. All right, we're going to hide it, hide that box, and select, oh, wait, actually, before we do that, we have to finish our chassis on this one. Validate. Okay, there's our Boolean and the caboose chassis. Where is it? There it is. All right, we're going to Boolean out our cavity on that end. I just remembered. Oh, and we killed Nomad. Hopefully, what are we doing here? Hold on. Yeah, that's what happens when Nomad crashes. Sometimes you just lose everything that you had. That's why you always got to save. And we did, of course. We just lost the caboose. That's all right. We'll just put it back in there and do it again. Let's pull it down into place. That's what happens. My iPad is heating up because we're really driving this thing hard. Turn on X-ray so I can see through it. Okay, there's the entire train. Caboose. Caboose. All right. Now, did it save our other Boolean? Yes, it did. Here it is. All right, so we need 2 more of these. So I'm going to clone them, pull them out here. I'm going to show them all so we can see them. We'll just put them out here behind the train. We'll grab them when we need them. And I'll hide them. All right. Snap is set to 90 by default, and it's not on. Turn it on. All right, this goes here. I know we already did this side before, but block here. Double check our side. Make sure that we've got good clearance, and we do. Alright, once more we're going to cut that out of this chassis. We'll hide the box and select the chassis and hit Boolean. There we go, we'll cut that side out. Do a quick remesh. Clean that edge up. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and adjust the topology on this box here. We'll validate it. Make it feel good about itself. Alright, I'm going to grab one of those boxes out here that we duplicated. And that's pointing the right direction. Turn on paint mode again so we can see through it. Nomad Sculpt, you're home. Welcome home. All right. Let's go ahead and excavate that out of the chassis. So there's our box. Our caboose has a chassis. We'll turn paint off. Alright, I'm going to hide the box and then select the chassis, and then we'll Boolean it out. There we go. Oh no. Did I go too far? Oh! I was thinking to myself I should have saved before I did that. Alright, my apologies. That's on me. We'll do it one more time. The good news is by the time we both get done with this, we're going to be professionals. Okay, let's load up the caboose. Turn on X-ray. Yeah, this is a 6.5 gig file, so although I've got 15.9 gigs for overhead, it shouldn't be crashing on me. But I never said I'd like to create simple things. I mean, we do, but you know, some simple things. But this is a definite yes. I'm going to save it. Thank you. Save. Do not crash on save, please. Thank you. All right. All right, let's grab our box Boolean. I'm going to clone that twice, turn it on so we can see it. I'm going to grab two of these, move them out here just for the moment, and we'll hide them. We did save. Okay, turn snap on, turn paint on. I've already set the opacity to about 25% so we can see through it. Make sure we get it positioned correctly. Alright, look at it from the side. Once again, good clearance top and bottom. Alright, turn paint off. I am going to hide our Boolean, select the chassis, excavate that piece out there, and then we're going to save. Smooth that out. That one a little high. I like to keep it under 800, and then you don't get that warning. Okay, and slip back into paint mode. Paint it with the black that is surrounding it. Out of paint, back to matte cap. And now we're going to save. We're going to save after each Boolean operation because, like I said, I think we're scraping the ceiling on our memory allocation. That's probably what's going on. Okay, so we need another box. unhide. I'm gonna unhide it. We're gonna move it over here, which is where we need it. And we'll turn on paint mode. Again, we can see through it. Move it gently into place. Okay. It's a copy of the other one, so the clearances I'm very positive are fine. Alright, this is where we ran into trouble before, wasn't it? Topology. And now we're going to save again. It's when we went to validate this last chassis is when it gave us some issues. Alright, everybody hold your breath. Here we go. Validate. Hey! No problem. And we'll decimate this model when we're done too, so it's not like it's going to be at this resolution forever. Alright, we hide the box. We select the chassis. Alright, everything's still there. And now we boolean out our shape. Actually, I think the boolean's where it crashed before, wasn't it? Okay, why are we in low power mode? That doesn't even make sense. I'm at 100% power. Alright, we did crash, so it doesn't like that boolean for some reason. So I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's check our topology. It's already set. We saved it just after we set the polygon count. Maybe what we need to do is what I wanted to do anyway. I'm going to export these that we've already done back into their own Nomad file, or at least one of them. Let's pick one. Let's do the engine. And then we'll delete it. Let's see, how can we do this? Well, we can delete it and then we can load it back in. So let's do that. All right, let's go grab the engine. Let's just make it a little easier for the application to do what it needs to do. All right, so there's the engine. We're going to export this as a Nomad file. Select it. Export. Okay, I'm going to call this final 2025. I just gave a little extra there because I've got a couple of these engines in here and I don't want to get them confused. Now, where's that coupler? I want to keep this coupler here. This coupler goes with the coal tender. Alright. And the engine is gone. Just for the moment. Alright, now I'm thinking that should give us... Oh shoot, it took those couplers with. Hold on. See, this is why it's advantageous to keep your files organized. Alright, so that pin, that belongs with that engine. Actually, all of my couplers are on the engine. Alright, so there's, let's see, hold on. There's that coupler. This coupler, right? Alright, we already moved that coupler. Good. Let's grab this one. That goes in the coal tender as well. This one goes in the flat car. Where is the flat car? There it is down here. There's the next group. Also goes in the flat car. Alright. So now I should now I should be able to get rid of the engine without deleting everything else that we need. There we go. Yay. Alright. let's see. Oh, no, not all right. We deleted the caboose coupler. That one there. That goes in the caboose. Now I'm going to get rid of the train engine. We should be okay, yes? We've got our booleans, we've got our couplers. We've got 2 other cars. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and save. Actually, I'm going to save as. Whole train final 2. Okay. Grab our boolean. Hide it. And then grab the chassis and the caboose. Switch over to X-ray so we can only see those items. Actually, I'm going to do a solo. All right, cross your fingers. We just want you to cut that piece out of the chassis. Come on now. We took the... All right, so I'm thinking we need to... Hello, Steph. Thanks for joining us. I'm thinking we need to... I think we need to move something. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to decimate, because this has got a lot of polygons in it. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and decimate this piece a little bit. I'm just going to remesh it. Make that shape a little simpler. That might be what's putting the too high of a demand on our Boolean operation. Okay, hide. Where's our caboose? It's down here. Chassis. Solo. Okay, just the chassis and the wheels. All right. Let's try our Boolean again. Gets locked up right at that 59%. Wow. Okay, well, we're going to get rid of this piece here and replace it with another piece. Because somebody doesn't like to play. Now we'll try this other, hold on, let me unhide it. We'll try this other shape, which is just a copy of the last shape, but maybe one of our shapes was corrupt. I don't know. Let's put it back in position. I'm going to clone it again because we'll need it for the other side of the caboose. Let's put it out here. All right. Box number 2 is the one we want. We're going to hide it. We're going to Boolean that piece right out of there. This time it's going to work. And if it doesn't, we're going to make a new piece altogether. Nope. It's hung up on 59.94% again. I wonder why. Now it's just locking up. See if we can cancel it. Nope. Operation aborted. Failure. All right, well, we were able to stop the operation. So, we're going to recreate this piece because there is something about this piece that it doesn't like. All right, we're going to use the existing piece as a template, though. So let's go ahead and grab our box. And I'm going to pair this with the chassis. So we're just working with the chassis. Kind of keep things simplified here. All right, we're going to add a box. I don't know where it's at. There it is down there. We'll move it up here. That's where we need it. And we'll go ahead and slip back into paint mode so I can adjust the opacity. Alright, let's take a look at it from the top. Sorry, I had an itch. Let's up the topology just a little bit. Not go crazy. Alright, I think that's enough. Let's go ahead and validate it. Now, as we did before, we'll grab our trim tool, start with a circle. This will be a little easier because we're just going to recreate the shape in front of us. There we go. Close enough, as they say. All right. Let's just go ahead and flip it now so we can get the shape that we... Oh, I don't want symmetry on. That'll mess you up if you don't remember your symmetry tool is turned on. Alright, let's up the resolution a little bit. I don't have this in a mirror somewhere, do I? No. Just want to make sure. Here's the original box, which we will get rid of. And now there is our new box. And real quick, I just want to check this against our coupler. So let's bring that. Actually, let's pair that up with the chassis as well. I got stuff moving around like crazy here. There we go. And go back to paint mode so we can see through it. There we go. All right. All right, we've got good clearance, top, bottom, and up here. So let's do as we did before, only this time with less failure. I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay. And now we're going to hide the box, the Boolean, and select the chassis. Turn paint off. And yay! So the shape was corrupt. There was something wrong with the mesh or the wireframe. No big deal, except one thing I just remembered. We need a copy of this. And I want to make sure that we don't have that other box in reserve. Alright, we must have deleted it. Alright, let's clone it. Put it out here. Save it for a rainy day. And come back here. Alright, once again, hide that. Select the chassis. Boolean. Boom. Alright. You know what? I'm going to pull the piece out of the other end. Actually, I don't know where it goes yet. Never mind. Alright. Let's go ahead and clean this side up. Like so. Alright, there's the cavity for our coupler, and then we just need to duplicate this coupler. Whoa. One more time. Oh, nope, there's the original box. Goodbye. We don't need that one anymore. Alright, we do need a copy of this coupler here. It's in the flat car, isn't it? Alright, so I'm going to duplicate this coupler first. And then we're going to move it down into the caboose. So we've got What's going on here? Got this coupler and this coupler, and I need them both. There we go. Except I need to duplicate that right side, don't I? Clone it. So I need this one and this one. And those we're going to move down to the end. Right about there. Let's go to the top. Let's grab our... I'm going to solo this chassis so we're only looking at the pieces that we need. Oh, turn snap on so we can rotate this into position. And then slide it right in there. Bring it down just a smidge. Double check clearance from the side. And we are still good. We're going to save. And then we are going to Boolean that out of the chassis one more time. Just like it's supposed to. There we go. Remesh it again for a little cleanup on aisle 7. And now this and this are not needed because that just hangs out there in case we want to connect more cars. And who knows what cars there will be available in the future. Keep getting a low battery warning. My battery's 100%. Look, 100%. I don't know why TikTok's open. Alright, well hopefully this thing won't shut down on me. And if it does, then I guess the stream will be over. Alright. Let's see if we can add... Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've got to look into that. Because the iPad is at 100%, but it's feeding back that it's about to die. Which, we're going to use it. We're going to use it until it goes below, you know, obviously down to 0 and see if it actually shuts off on me. In which case, if it does, we'll restart it. And I don't know, maybe that'll reset the clock. It might be because it's getting a little warm too, but it's not as warm as my old iPad used to get, which is the reason I got the new iPad. All right, let's see if we can... All right, we're going to save before we do anything crazy. All right, so all of our Janny connectors or Janny couplers are in place. So what's next now is I want to see if we can add that engine back in. That's the right one, right? Yeah. Yay. Train engine. That's kind of weird. Why would it bring these things in as separate items? That's the eyes, the rear wheel axle, the axle cap. It instanced those. They were in a mirror before. Very interesting. Well, you know what we can do? Let's get rid of this. And don't need that track. Oh wait, we kept the track, but we're going to delete the track because we're going to add in although if I add the engine, I don't think this had the coupler in it, did it? Oh yeah, it did. We saved it. Okay. No, we didn't. Dang it. Alright. Add scene. Express engine final. So what I'm going to do is we're going to steal the engine from this scene here. Because I know that engine was done. At least I hope it was. No, it wasn't. Interesting. I'm going to add the scene one more time. Whole train final. Now that one's got to contain the engine. That was finished. Whoa. There'll be some cleanup required here. Okay, yeah, this engine is finished. But I'm going to bet that we duplicated couplers here at the very least. No, we didn't. Okay. So what did we bring in? I'm going to undo and we're going to do it again because I need to see what are the extra objects that we brought in. Alright, so the tracks. Getting rid of this grid because it's just annoying me. Alright, so we brought in extra tracks. Boxes. Sorry. Just want to get rid of our duplicates here because... Yeah. Alright. So I think what I need to do is we just need to deselect the train. And then we can delete everything else. Fingers crossed. We're just going to do it. I don't know if that was the best idea, but we did it. And you know what? I'll sort that out later. I just wanted to get the train engine in here to make sure that we had everything that we've done in one place. So, let's go ahead and position this train. Yeah, it's dogging a little bit because we've got a lot of 9.3 gigabytes is the size of this file. That's huge. Whole train final 2. Like I said, we've probably got some duplicates in here. I'll clean them up later. Hopefully this file saves. There we go. And there's what our train... There's what our train looks like. Now that's everything. Everything is... Everything is modeled. All of our articulation links are created. And now all we have to do is do some test printing. Do some test prints. I want to check the doors. These doors actually operate. This whole top lifts off. The wheels turn. So I got to test my axles, make sure that the parts that comprise the snap-in caps, that those are set up with the proper tolerances. We'll probably do a test. Yeah, there's a chassis from the additional caboose. I just realized we need to paint this. So I'm going to test a couple of these articulating joints to make sure that everything articulates and prints well. And then from there, it's just a matter of setting it up on the printer, loading up the filament, letting her rip. So, anyway, there's our train. That has been a labor of love mostly, for the past couple of weeks. And it has greatly held up my holiday collection, but it is done now. I'm glad of that. So that means we can get test prints lined up. I'm going to slice up a couple of things here. It's only 3:15, so I'm going to show you. Actually, if for those of you that want to stick around, what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and do some cleanup real quick. We're going to get this model all cleaned up, get the pieces in here only the pieces in here that belong in here. We're going to validate all of our mirrors, all of our arrays, and then export each one of these as a final model. Not including the tracks. The tracks are nice for display, but it's additional geometry we don't need, and I've already got the tracks in their own separate files that we need to test print a couple of pieces of those as well. Actually, we need to make the connectors to make the tracks interlink as well. So if you want to stick around, and I will be bringing my screen over here on the iPad from the laptop as I work in Bamboo Studio and Creality's slicer in order to set up the test prints. But first thing I need to do is I need to take a quick bathroom break, and I need to grab a drink because I'm getting really dry from all this talking. So, like I said, if you want to stick around, I'm not going to restart the stream. I don't see any reason to do that. I'm just going to mute myself and step away for a second, and then I'll be right back. It'll be about 5 minutes, and then we'll get started on some technical stuff. Okay, we're back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Check 1, check 2. Can you hear me now? Pardon the ASMR. I'm just opening a bag of chips. Alright. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Excellent. All right, I'm going to do something here. We're going to just test something real quick. I'm going to do a quick screen mirror from my desktop to my iPad. You should see my iPad now. Or I'm sorry, my desktop. This is currently what we're printing. And you'll have to bear with me here for a second because I need to this is one of our creations, one of our Halloween creations. We're actually traveling tomorrow, and I gotta take some of these guys with me. And I just realized I need to print some owls. So I need to go and see if I've got time to get these owls printed. So give me a second here. Where is it? Owl Witch. There she is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors. Yikes. All right, I've got an H2D, so we'll have to print this. So it'll have to be on the H2D if we print anything. Feel free to ask me any questions about bamboo too, as long as we're doing this. I want to see how many of these we can print out successfully. So that means I've got a little over 12 hours. I should be able to squeeze out 5, I would think. Let's check and see. Now, there's a broom that she holds that slides into her claws. So, need to print that too. But I don't want to print that on the same plate. I think I'd like to do that separately. Let's see if we can get enough, if we've got enough time. What is that going to take? 12 hours, 54 minutes. Yikes. That would be cutting it kind of close, especially since I want to do the broom the brooms as well. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take one of these off the plate. I wish I could print more than 4, but that may be all we have time for. It's a 6-color print. What are you going to do? Let's see. And the summary says... Alright, yellow and white on head 1, nozzle 1, black, brown, purple, and red. Nozzle 2. And that's going to take us 11 and a half hours. So 11 and a half hours. I've got roughly 12 hours, takes us to 3:30. My Uber arrives at 7, so that's 3.5 hours. Let's see how long it takes to print the brooms, because that may be the deciding factor. So with 4 witches, I'll need 4 brooms. If I'm not mistaken, I think we already set these up for supports. Let me double check. Nope, we didn't. All right, well, we need to. So we're going to do the supports manually. I've set my support angle at 30 degrees, which is very generous. Hey, get out of the cat box now. I've got 2 beagles that love to eat cat litter. Don't even get me started. Alright, now I'm going to turn overhang off, and I don't need to highlight this because I want to clean this up just a little bit. Yep, I like that though. That just tells me, I use this just to kind of get me in the ballpark where those supports need to go. And then I come in and kind of clean it up manually. Good enough. There we go. All right. Let's make sure our supports are turned on, and they are. Supports. Tree auto. I want tree manual. And we'll go with the default setting. And I want it on build plate only. And now we're going to duplicate this 3 times. That's a little too close together though, especially if they have supports. Need to spread these out just a little bit. And let's see what we have. Hey, guys, you're going to be down here. You got to get in your bed. Come on. Over here. In your bed. Come on. Get in your bed. 3 hours. Ooh, wow. Right on the money. Not much margin for error, is there? Shoot. Do we do it? And we got nothing to lose, right? If we print something and it doesn't work out, 3 hours from now puts us at 6:30. There'll be plenty of time to queue up the next batch. All right. I guess we'll go ahead and do that. Give me a second here. What do we need here? Summary says left nozzle gets purple, right nozzle gets yellow and brown. Left nozzle. All right. Let me set the printer up real quick. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All that's left now is to go to the H2D and set up our colors. Let's see, we got PLA silk, put a purple in there, and then this one we have yellow. Actually, it's more of a gold, and that gets our brown color. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and slice this. All right, that's good. Excuse me. Okay, purple, yellow, brown, and H2D. We are good to go. Right? Auto off. Flow dynamics off. Print. All right, make me proud. We'll come back and check on that a little later. For now, we go back to Nomad. All right, thank goodness the printers have cameras in them, because I just realized the plate was not in there. And that it would have let me know, but I'm glad we caught it. All right, off we go. So back to our train here in progress. First thing we need to do is we need to go in here and get rid of all the extra stuff that we don't need. And I'm actually going to clean things up a bit here and get rid of the train tracks, because we can put train tracks in later. We don't need them right now, and they're taking up unnecessary memory. So let's just get rid of everything that looks like train tracks. Tracks. We're eliminating the tracks. Okay. That got rid of a little bit of our overhead. Now we need to figure out what part of our train has been duplicated. I find it interesting that some of these pieces have come loose. Here's our platform, there's the box. The corner trim actually goes on the coal box. I think we've got whole extra cars in here. Let me check. Coal box. And the reason I say that is because if I select this, and then I hide it, it's still there. So where is the extra box? Right there it is. So we're going to get rid of the extra box. But it's missing the filigree. Interesting. All right. Yeah, some stuff got messed up here. That's okay. Like I said, we're just going to clean it up. And then we will continue on our way. Okay, there's that. And then there's our corner filigree. I'm going to join these. We'll call these filigree signs. That's for the side of the box. Right there. Front corner filigree. And then I think what we'll do is we're going to grab all three of these and group them up and just call them filigree. Coal tender filigree. And again, you don't have to do this, but I highly recommend it if you want to maintain a level of sanity when you're modeling this stuff, because if your models are simple, it's not a necessity. But as you can see, the more models that or the more pieces that we get to our models, it very quickly becomes very complicated to find what it is that we're looking for. Okay. Coal tender filigree, and then we've got the coal box itself, so that, if I hide it now, see, we've got extra pieces here. Let's go find them. Get rid of that one. That one. Hello. Get rid of that one. Those. And then the group that goes with them. All right, there's the platform. Now the question is, do we already have a platform? And we do. So it looks like the entire coal tender has been duplicated. So there's the platform. There's the chassis. Now, do we already have a chassis here? Yes, we do. So I'm going to select the chassis and then hide it. I'm going to select the platform and hide it. And hide the coupler in front. And then we've got this coupler in the back. We'll hide that. Now that's everything that makes up our coal tender. And I'll hide that. So anything else that's left here is very obviously duplicates. So let's get rid, excuse me, of the duplicates. Even the couplers are duplicates. How about that? Where are they at? Oh, that's right. They came over with the train engine. All right, we'll get rid of those. And we'll get rid of those. So now, the coal car seems to be missing. But, if I come in here and select the coal car and reveal it, it comes back. Now if I turn on X-ray, we can see everything else is still around it, so our coal car is done. I'm going to hide it. We don't need to see it right now. Let's go ahead and work on the flat car. So there's the flat car. And there's everything that goes with the flat car, so I'm going to hide it. And it looks like we have more flat car. So there's the chassis, the platform, side filigree, the snow, the box, the gold dots. Let's grab all of that and get rid of them. There's the axles and wheels. There's the corner trim. And it looks like the coupler has been duplicated as well. Coal tender. Flat car. So this coupler with the train engine needs to go. There we go. Now our flat car should be just the flat car. And, excuse me, yeah, we've got an extra coupler back here. I can see it. So let's hide it again. And then select that. And now our flat car is all by itself. Excellent. We'll do the caboose. Excuse me. You can kind of see that white shadow around everything. That tells me there's a duplicate. So once again, make sure we've got couplers on both ends. We do. Let's hide it. And let's get rid of the extra coal car. So we've got our chassis, our platform, our cabin, the main roof. And is there a coupler? Yes, there is. Our extra coupler. All right, I think our iPad actually faked its own passing. Okay, and it's back. Wake up, little Susie. Fix it on our other streams here. There we go. All right. Let's see. Did we lose everything that we did? I think we did. It's all right. We're experts at this by now. All right, let's get rid of the tracks. That's so funny. Our iPad keeps quitting on us. Apologies for that. Autosave, yeah. You're right. I think I should probably turn that on because our iPad is definitely... It's completely charged. You can see there it says 100%. Wonder if it's because it's overheating, maybe? I really got to get these pieces tested before I take off. So if you guys want to stick it out, it's your call. I mean, nobody has to stay here if you don't want to. But I've got to solve this. All right, tell you what, let's go ahead. Can I turn autosave on? Timer pop-up. Pop-up timeout. I've never used it before, so let's just see how it works. Final 2. Okay, let's see, let's get rid of our tracks. Where are they at? Track. There's one. There's another one. And there's the last piece of track. Let's go ahead and save. Let's kill these other applications too and see if that helps. All right, let's see. Coal tender, I'm going to solo that. All right, we need the corner trim. Why did the corner trim not show up? It should be there. That's weird, because it moved. All right. Let's turn on X-ray. And put these back where they go. You know what? Maybe we need to restart the iPad. Because it doesn't seem to be happy. In fact, my pencil now doesn't want to seem to sync up. All right, that goes right there. I know because I made it to go there. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to restart the iPad. All right, let's just go ahead and force restart. Welcome to the Let's Maintain Our Mac TikTok channel. Okay. Okay, while I was restarting my iPad, I did some quick research to see what the problem might be. And it looks like it might be it needed a hard reset, which is what we did by turning it off. So, need to relink up our pencil. All right, let's continue our goal here, which is to straighten up and clean up, I should say, not straighten up, clean up our model list here. All right. Our iPad is not cooperating. Now it says it's dead. All right, tell you what we're going to do. I think the anomaly is in the display. Let's plug this in. Bear with me. I think that's our problem. Alright, I plugged it directly into a charging brick, and we'll see if that fixes it. I'm actually going to plug it in here on the side. So this would be a good time to show you all the $20 cleaning cloth that comes with these new iPads. And it's the only thing, it's a microfiber cloth. It's the only thing that will clean these screens. This is the nano textured screen. And if you try to use any other microfiber cloth, it won't work. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because the texture is so fine. No other cloth will actually get into the crevices, the nooks and crannies. You can see the difference. And if you really want to clean it, which I do, then you have to use isopropyl alcohol. This cleans it in a hurry. And then you polish it clean with the microfiber cloth. Might be time to wash my microfiber cloth. All right, we're obviously getting power because we're getting the startup screen. Yeah, that's funny. It says it's at 1% now, and it said it was at 100%. Okay. That looks much better. All right, and we've got 1% power. So we're well on our way to success. Excuse me. Alright, let's bring up Nomad again, see where we stand. See if we lost anything in our progress. Alright, seems to be a lot happier. Things are moving a little faster. I'm going into X-ray mode. We're going to select the coal tender. We're going to hide it. And then we're going to select something else. And now the coal tender that's showing is the one that shouldn't be there. So we're going to get rid of it once again. Alright, looks like we have to let the iPad charge. So for now, I believe we are done streaming. My apologies. I wanted to show you more, but unfortunately it's not going to happen today. Alright, well I will be out of town for the rest of the week. We'll be returning next week. So I will be back to streaming next week. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.